Finally, the big day has arrived. Later, we'll have the first preseason game, where we'll face the Jaguars, and I believe with all my heart that we'll win this game. If you believe this too, hit that like button hard, and write something like this: Go Steelers! My heart bleeds black and gold. Now, let's talk about what's really going on in Pittsburgh. One of the biggest narratives flying around right now is about the dynamic between Aaron Rodgers and Arthur Smith. Everywhere you look, it seems people want to pit them against each other, like it's some kind of football tug-of-war. Will it be Rodgers' offense or Smith's offense? But that's just not reality. What's happening inside the Steelers building is far more collaborative than people think. Rodgers came to Pittsburgh because he respects Arthur Smith's football mind and his offensive scheme, but also because Smith is willing to adapt and integrate ideas that Rodgers, and even the receivers, bring to the table. We're talking about open forums, constant communication, and a shared vision for how to attack defenses. This isn't a dictatorship. It's a true partnership. Rodgers himself has been clear. Arthur Smith isn't rigid. Anytime someone from the offense has an idea, it gets heard, and if it's worth installing, it gets installed. Rodgers has even been given the space in team meetings to break down film with players directly, something that can carry extra weight when it comes from a quarterback with more than 2 decades of NFL experience. Arthur Smith has also tailored this system for Rodgers specifically, giving him multiple options at the line of scrimmage to take full advantage of his elite pre-snap reads. Sometimes they're breaking the huddle with 3 plays ready, letting Rodgers adjust instantly based on what he sees from the defense. That's the kind of autonomy that can turn an already sharp offense into one of the most dangerous in the league. While all of that is going on, 2 key Steelers, Cameron Hayward and Chris Boswell, are in the middle of contract situations that have fans buzzing. Social media can make it sound like this is some sort of crisis, but the truth is far calmer. Both players are present at camp, engaged in meetings, and contributing where it matters. Hayward isn't doing full team drills right now, mostly to avoid injury before securing what he feels is a fair pay raise. Something that's pretty reasonable when you consider he was a first-team All-Pro last year and the Steelers are sitting on nearly $36 million in cap space. Boswell, on the other hand, was arguably the best kicker in the league last season but is only 11th in annual kicker salaries. Both men have a case, and both situations seem destined to be resolved without major drama. And while the offense is making headlines and the front office works through contracts, the defense has been turning heads in a way we haven't seen in years. Newcomer One Thornhill flat out said this group could be one of the best defenses in NFL history. That's not a small statement from a guy who's played with top-tier talent before. He's looking around and seeing a roster with no weak spots, an elite front, linebackers who can fly, and defensive backs who can lock down anyone. Even DK Metcalf, who goes up against them in practice, says it's the best defense he's ever seen in his NFL career. That kind of respect from the other side of the ball says a lot. Think about it. TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Cam Hayward, Patrick Queen, Joey Porter Jr., Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay, Keanu Benton, Minka Fitzpatrick, and Thornhill himself. It's an all-star cast with speed, toughness, and football IQ everywhere you look. There's a reason people are starting to whisper about this team being able to reach best in the league status, and if they even sniff that level of dominance, it's not crazy to start talking about the Steelers making a legitimate Super Bowl run. So here's where I'll leave it for now. This team is building something special, both on the field and in the locker room. The Rodgers-Smith collaboration could unlock a whole new level for the offense. The contract situations aren't as dire as some think, and this defense has the swagger and talent to back up their bold claims. But here's my question for you. Do you believe this group has what it takes to live up to all this hype? And here's where things start to get even more intriguing in Pittsburgh. While the headlines have been dominated by Aaron Rodgers' arrival and the defense's confidence, what's brewing underneath is a sense that this team is aligning in a way we haven't seen in years. Rodgers isn't just here to collect a paycheck or extend his career. He's fully invested in the process, down to the smallest details in practice. Teammates have been quick to point out that his presence has already elevated the standard in the quarterback room, the receivers room, and even across the offensive line. Every snap in camp is being dissected, every adjustment challenged, and every mistake corrected on the spot. That's the sort of accountability that can ripple through a roster. Arthur Smith, for his part, is clearly relishing this chance to work with someone of Rodgers' caliber. The way they're structuring this offense is like building a custom-fitted suit, everything tailored to maximize Rodgers' strengths while keeping defenses constantly guessing. Pre-snap reads, layered route concepts, disguised formations, and those can calls in the huddle that let Rodgers check out of a bad look before the ball is even snapped. It's all designed for flexibility and control. And unlike some pairings where egos get in the way, this one seems to be rooted in mutual respect. Then there's the financial side of the equation. The Steelers' cap situation is the quiet weapon nobody's really talking about. Nearly $36 million in available space gives them the flexibility to not only satisfy Hayward and Boswell but also make in-season moves if a big opportunity presents itself. That's not the kind of flexibility many contenders enjoy this late in the offseason. The front office has been strategic, keeping the door open for both rewarding their own players and potentially pouncing if a difference-maker hits the trade block before the deadline. Speaking of Hayward, his situation feels less like a standoff and more like a negotiation with mutual understanding. He's not absent, he's involved in the day-to-day. He's protecting his body, which, given his veteran status and the physical toll of his position, is simply smart business. The coaching staff knows exactly what they're going to get from him when the season kicks off: leadership, physical dominance, and the kind of game-changing plays that have defined his career. The same goes for Boswell, who quietly might have been the most clutch Steeler last season. Getting him compensated like the elite kicker he is would be as much about sending the right message to the locker room as it is about locking down points on the scoreboard. But as good as the offense and special teams could be, it's the defense that's creating the loudest buzz. Thornhill's best of all-time comment wasn't made lightly, and DK Metcalf's stamp of approval carries weight. Look closely at this unit and you see why there's belief. They can rush the passer from the edges with Watt and Highsmith, collapse the interior with Hayward and Benton. And now they've added a linebacker duo in Patrick Queen and Peyton Wilson that can cover, blitz, and hit with equal ferocity. In the secondary, Porter Jr. continues to grow into a true shutdown corner. Slay brings championship pedigree. Ramsey gives you elite nickel versatility. And Thornhill plus Minka patrolling the back end means quarterbacks will think twice about testing deep routes. That's the formula for frustration if you're an opposing offense. No soft spots. No obvious mismatches to exploit. And when you combine that with an offense run by Rodgers, one that can control tempo, sustain drives, and capitalize on turnovers, you're talking about a team built to suffocate opponents on both sides of the ball. Of course, bold preseason talk is just that until the games start. History shows plenty of stacked rosters that never lived up to their billing. But what makes this different is the sense of urgency you can feel from the veterans. Watt wants another Defensive Player of the Year and, more importantly, another Lombardi. Hayward knows his window isn't infinite. Rodgers, at this stage, is chasing legacy as much as anything else. When talent and urgency meet, special things can happen. And if you're looking for signs that this team believes, just watch the way they practice. Even in drills, there's an edge. Offense versus defense isn't casual, it's competitive, even chippy at times. That's not dysfunction, that's iron sharpening iron. The defense forcing Rodgers to find the smallest of windows. Rodgers challenging the secondary to stay disciplined when he uses his signature hard count. Every day is a test, and those tests are stacking up into something potentially very dangerous for the rest of the league. So keep your eyes locked here, hit that like button, and make sure you're subscribed. Because the way things are shaping up, we could be talking about much more than just playoff football in Pittsburgh. We could be looking at a genuine Super Bowl contender, and I'll have more breaking updates for you right here as soon as they come in.